Eala aims to get even with Valentova in Qatar Open. Manila, Philippines. Alex Eala will start her climb to the steeper WTA 100 Qatar Open against a familiar foe in Teresa Valentova of Czechia in round 1, eyeing sweet revenge after bowing via sweep last time out. The Doha tournament, WTA's first 1,000-level event this season, already got going Monday at the Khalifa International Tennis and Squash Complex, with Eala being assigned to Day 2 against a qualifier that ultimately became Valentova. Valentova, a twin champion in both the 2024 French Open girls singles and doubles, lived up to her lofty billing as the number 1 seed in the qualifiers by beating Aussie Irina Rodionova, WTA number 210, 6-2, 2-6, 7-6, 3, and German Eala Seidel, WTA number 83, to advance to the main draw. Thank you, Abu Dhabi. A time was had. Next stop, Doha, said Eala Sunday, sharing a series of scenic views upon arriving at the Qatari capital, including a photo with close friend Zeynep Sönmez of Turkey. Eala and Valentova are shoulder to shoulder in the WTA rankings, Eala at number 45 and Valentova at number 44. Making it one of the interesting matchups in the 64-player main draw featuring a bevy of buys for top seeds. Game time and court assignment are yet to be determined, but the 20-year-old Filipina pride has nothing bigger in mind than to exact vengeance after absorbing a 6-1, 6-2 defeat in the Japan Women's Open last year. Should Eala pass the test of the 18-year-old Czech, she would be in for a possible clash against 2023 French Open finalist, world number 19 and Qatar's number 14 seed Karolina Muchova of Russia, who's up against number 35 Jacqueline Christian of Romania in the round of 64. World number 4 and reigning champion Amanda Anisimova, number 3 seed, of the United States, then is projected to wait by the third round of the loaded upper bracket that also includes world number 2 and 6-time Grand Slam champion Iga Swiatek of Poland, number 8 Jasmine Paolini of Italy, number 10 Alina Svitolina of Ukraine, and number 12 Linda Noskova of Czechia. Eala's good friends in Sönmez, WTA number 49, and Janice Tien of Indonesia, WTA number 47, are also in the same bracket as newly minted Australian Open champion and number 2 seed Elena Rybakina of Kazakhstan headlines the bottom half. The lefty sensation is expected to be buoyed by a strong Filipino crowd once again, similar to the WTA 500 Abu Dhabi, where she beat Sönmez en route to the quarterfinal stint and teamed up with Chen for a double semifinal finish. Abu Dhabi became Eala's third straight playoff appearance to kick off the season with a bang after a Final Four finish in the WTA 250 ASB Classic in Auckland, New Zealand, and last 8 stint in the WTA 125 Philippine Women's Open. It will be the first WTA 1000 tournament for Eala, who also had her Australian Open main draw and ruled the Kooyong Classic exhibition in Melbourne last month, as direct entry after a magical run in the 2025 Miami Open as a wildcard. That campaign marked by wins against the likes of Swiatek, Madison Keys, and Yelena Ostapenko, all Grand Slam champions, skyrocketed Eala's career to enter the top 100 and later on top 50. As per the WTA live rankings, Eala is currently at number 40 leading to Doha with 1244 points and could rise higher given another deep campaign. At stake in Doha is at least 65 ranking points and a $26,000 purse if Eala reaches the second round, possibly getting her to top 35. She'd settle for 10 points and $18,300 with an early boot for a plateau at top 40 to 45. Eala faces a busy stretch after Doha, strutting her stuff back in the United Arab Emirates at the Dubai Tennis Championships on February 15th to 21st and the Indian Wells, BNP Paribas Open, on March 4th to 15th before a grand return in the Miami Open on March 17th to 29th. Eala aims to get even with Valentova in the Qatar Open. The Doha air always carried a kind of electricity, salt from the nearby sea, heat rising from polished concrete, and the low hum of expectation that wrapped itself around the stadium long before the first serve was struck. For Alexandra Eala, the Qatar Open was never just another tournament on the calendar. This year, it was a reckoning. Across the net waited Valentova. The name alone tightened something in Eala's chest. Not fear, no, that had burned away months ago, but memory. Sharp, stubborn memory. The last time they had met, the match slipped through Eala's fingers like sand. Points she replayed endlessly in her mind. A backhand that sailed long. A break point wasted. Valentova's calm, almost cruel composure as the final ball landed in. That loss had followed Eala everywhere. Into training sessions. Into quiet hotel rooms. into the moments before sleep when the mind refuses to rest. It wasn't humiliation that haunted her. It was the feeling of unfinished business. Now, under the bright Qatar sun, there was nowhere left to run from it. Eala stepped onto the court with deliberate calm, her footsteps steady, her face unreadable. The crowd murmured, sensing the tension even if it didn't know its full history. On the other side, Valentova stretched methodically, every movement precise, economical. She looked the same as always, unbothered, contained, a player who thrived on making others unravel. Eala refused to give her that satisfaction again. The warm-up told its own story. Eala's shots had more weight now, more intention. Her forehand cracked through the air with a sound that echoed off the stands. This wasn't the eager challenger of before. This was someone who had learned what loss cost, and what it could teach. When the match began, it was clear neither player intended to blink first. Games stretched long, juice after juice, rallies pulling the crowd to the edge of their seats. Valentova tried to dictate, drawing Eala wide, testing her patience the way she always did. But Eala had prepared for this version of the battle. She absorbed the pressure, redirected pace, and waited, not passively, but purposefully. Every point felt like a conversation between past and present. When Eala missed, she didn't flinch. When Valentova raised her fist after a winner, Eala simply turned away, already planning the next exchange. The scoreboard moved slowly, but momentum began to shift in subtle ways, the kind only players truly notice. Valentova started to glance at her box more often. Her timing slipped by fractions. Eala felt it. She broke serve late in the first set, sealing it with a fearless down-the-line backhand that left Valentova rooted to the spot. The crowd erupted, but Eala didn't celebrate. She knew better. This wasn't over. Valentova was never done quietly. The second set came like a storm. Valentova raised her level, striking earlier, flattening her shots, forcing Eala to defend deeper behind the baseline. Games flew by. The rhythm changed. Eala dropped her serve, then another. For a moment, the old doubts threatened to resurface, the whisper that said not again. But this time, Eala answered back. She slowed her breathing between points, grounding herself in the feel of the racket grip, the bounce of the ball. She reminded herself why she was here, not to erase the past, but to prove she'd grown beyond it. She fought back a break, then another, refusing to let the match slip into Valentova's preferred pattern. Still, Valentova claimed the second set, sealing it with an ace down the tee. The crowd applauded, sensing a classic in the making. One set all. Everything to play for. The final set unfolded like a test of will as much as skill. Long rallies returned, each